making money. Anthony called Mrs. Marr and Mrs. Matt called Mrs. Ames. They decided that the girls would go to Powling Lake for swimming and boating lessons every morning. In the afternoon, they could entertain themselves. They'll be just fine, Lydia heard Aunt May saying over the phone. Children have 100 of ideas, and if they run out, we'll help them think of something. They can work on Project Food Fair next month. It's judged by age, so they really do have a chance. Besides, it's more fun if you are in a contest. Emily and Ivy were as happy as Lydia to stop going to camp. I just wish we'd caught that kid who stole the lunch, Ivy said. That's the only reason I wanted to go. Maybe Leo and Johnny will catch him, said Emily. Why do you think it's a boy? Asked Lydia. It could be a girl. It could be anyone, mused Ivy. It could be Miss Linda, said Lydia, making Emily and Ivy sure. Lydia's swimming teacher, Ellen, was nothing like Miss Linda. She was tall and thin, so thin that her bones jutted out, ribs showing on her back, and hip bones poking against the racing suit she wore. Ellen had short blonde hair and spoke in a soft voice. Don't be embarrassed about not knowing how to swim. I've taught people much older than you, Ellen said. I've even taught grandmothers how to swim, babies and grandmothers, the whole range. Ellen taught her little by little how to breathe between strokes. It's a matter of rhythm, she explained. When you are scared, you kick too hard and swing your arms like a water wheel. Of course, you can take a breath. There isn't any time. You've got to slow down, relax, and let the rhythm develop. Lydia wanted to keep her head above the water, but Ellen wouldn't to let her. The dog pedals a baby stroke. You can't get any speed with it. Trust me. Put your face in the water and every time you lift your right arm, roll your face to the right and take a little gulp of air. With Ellen's arm supporting her stomach, Lydia practiced stroking and breathing. That's it. Nice and easy, said Ellen. Easy for you. You are standing up. Lydia thought as she moved her arms and kicked her legs. Relax. Pretend you are lying on your bed. The water will hold you if you relax. Every morning after her swimming lesson, she practiced by herself until Emily and Ivy finished the canoe class. To her surprise, in only a week, she learned to stroke, kick, and take a breath. When she got tired, she rolled over on her back for a minute. Ellen was surprised that Lydia could float on her back. My father taught me, Lydia told her. He had cupped her head in his hand and let her body rise gently up until her legs floated to the top of the water. Gradually, he'd convinced her that she wouldn't sink if she just eased her head back into the water and let her arms float. When she panicked, he'd rest her head against his shoulder and with one hand in the small of her back, keep her from sinking until she relaxed and became buoyant again. Mermaid, he called her because her hair floated on the water like a tangle of seaweed. Before he could teach her anymore, he got sick. Lydia imagined what he would say if he could see her now. Sometimes she pretended that he was watching her practice. In just a few weeks, if her father was stable, her mother would come for a short vacation. A letter had come last week. Dear Lydia, that's improved so much that I think I'll be able to come up for a visit. The doctors are delighted. They say they've never seen someone respond so quickly. They keep bugging me to get a rest for myself. I guess I do need it. Yesterday I forgot that I left the water running in the tub upstairs until water started dripping right in onto the middle of the dining room table where I was having tea and reading. Hey, what's this spot on the newspaper? I said. Then I looked up and saw this mini waterfall coming right out of the ceiling. Just to call me forgetful. What was my name anyway? I tried to get a flight the third week of August. Can't wait to see you. Love and hug, Mom. Lydia didn't think she could wait that long to see her. She'd bring her to the lake and show her how she could swim with her face in the water. Maybe by then she could swim all the way to the raft. They could swim out together. At noon every day, the girls went home for lunch. Water rats and teased, spreading towels for them on the back seat. Sometimes they played together in the afternoon. Sometimes Lydia spent time by herself. Emily and Ivy worked on their fair project, but Lydia couldn't come up with any good ideas, so she played with the dollhouse, read books from the library and from the shelves in her bedroom, books her mother and her aunts had loved, and helped Aunt May in the garden. Sometimes she sorted the file card for Aunt Connie's book. The September deadline made Aunt Connie jumpy. In sneakers and baggy shorts, Aunt May poked around each plant with a collar-shaped tool, pulling out teeny weeds before they had a chance to grow big. When you loosen the earth, it helps the plants lose soil, holds the water better. And May's arms, legs, and face were reddish brown and freckled around her eyes. Teeny wrinkle line or etched white against her tan. Lady, my love, did you ever heard of a monogrammed apple? You make one by putting tape on a leaf. Then it ripes, leaving the tape part green. With Aunt May's help, Lydia put an L on one apple, an E on another, and I on the third. We can be apple sisters, she told her aunt, like blood brothers. Easier than pricking your finger and mixing blood, Aunt May agreed. When her aunt had moved on to the raspberry patch, Lydia chose another apple and taped the M on it and C on one beside it. The C needed 6 short pieces of tape to make it curved. One day, as the three girls waited for their ride home, Emily sprang a new idea on her friends. I have a great plan, the best plan I've ever had. She was so excited that one word bumped into the next as they hurried to jump out. We could start our own camp. Lydia groaned. Camp again? She shivered just thinking of the chicken, school, and Miss Linda's breasts gleaming in the sun. What about our fair project? I haven't even started. Emily backed her objection away. There's lots of time. I'm going to enter my tomatoes. They are doing better than anything else in the garden. I've got 7 potholders finished. I've said double thickness. I don't know what to do, said Lydia. So think. You will come up with something, said Emily. But listen to my idea. We could start a playgroup for little kids, 3 and 4 year olds. They'd come after their naps, say from 2:30 until 4:30. We'll play games and make things. We'll make a lot of money. We could give them juice and cookies for snack, animal crackers, or popsicles. The ice cream truck comes by every afternoon. I love snacks, I've said, already agreeing. There's 3 of us, and we are much bigger, so we won't have any trouble, Emily continued. Lydia didn't say anything, but she had a feeling that Emily was wrong. They could have lots of trouble. When they asked her, Mrs. Mott said the playgroup could meet in Emily's backyard. The fence will help you keep track of the children. You can use the picnic table for snacks and arts and crafts. Emily's swings had been given to a younger cousin, but her father dragged her old sandbox out of the back of the garage and filled it with clean sand. Ivy's mother found a bunch of extra kitchen things for the sandbox: measuring cups, saucepan, old spoons, a shifter, and a stack of plastic containers. Aunt Connie gave them a box of buttons. Let them string these into necklaces, she said, and May helped them make a flyer describing the camp. Mr. Mott ran off copies at work. Now all we need is kids, Emily said, looking at the empty backyard. How can we find them? Asked Lydia, still half hoping that this plan would fall through. We'll take our flyers around and ask every mother we see, said Emily confidently, and we'll go to the houses of every kid we already know, said Ivy. Except Jimmy Smiley. He always cries when his mother won't buy him candy at the grocery store, Emily agreed. Up and down the nearby streets, the girls rang doorbells, explained their plans, and left flyers. They had 4 children signed up by the time they'd finished. We need more, said Ivy. What about the apartment building? I bet there are kids living in there. Lydia, who had no younger brothers or sisters or even cousins, said, "Full enough for me. There are only 3 of us, remember? So what? We could each handle at least 2 or 3 of them. They are little," said Ivy. "Besides, the more kids we have, the more money we make." Emily and Ivy decided to try ringing bells inside an apartment house while Lydia checked the park. Under the maple tree next to the sandbox, a young woman in blue jeans sat on the bench, half-heartedly watching twin boys pour buckets of sand over each other's head. "Tim's taking a shower," said one. "Joe's taking a shower too," said the other. "Your hair all wet with sand." "Not as wet as yours." They teased each other into pouring more and more sand until they were throwing handfuls with both fists. Dodging the fly grains. Linda smiled shyly and handed the woman a flyer. "My friends and I are running an afternoon play group for little kids. We'll have games, snacks, and things to make. There are grown-up helping us. My friend's mother. It starts next week." "How long will you keep them?" the woman said. "From 2:30 until 4:30. It's better than nothing. Will you take these too?" "Sure, just fill in the application." As the woman was writing her name and the address at the bottom of the flyer, Lydia spied her friends and waved. "It starts Monday at this address. You can call Mrs. Moore if you have any questions." She tore off the top half of the flyer and gave it to the woman. With a last glance at Tim and Joy, she ran to catch up with Ivy and Emily. "I got 2. They are twins." "Good. We got 3 more. That's 9 in all." "3 each," said Emily. "We'll be rich enough to buy anything we like by the time the summer's over. I want a tape recorder." "I want a new bike," said Ivy. "We ought to make them match," said Lydia. "We will too, if the playgroup lasts all summer," Ivy insisted. "That's about 6 more weeks, or at least 5 more." Lydia didn't answer. 9 little kids for the rest of the summer. 9 little children sounds like a lot to me, said Aunt May when Lydia returned home. "They'll keep you hopping." 3 each, said Lydia. "You've only got hands for 2. You will have to sit on the third, I guess." May, don't get her worried. What could go wrong in Emily's backyard? Aunt Connie said. Aunt May smiled. "Plenty," she predicted. On the first day, the children arrived in ones and twos. Some skipped up the driveway, waved goodbye to their mothers, and began to explore the sandbox. Others hugged their mother's arms like small boa constructors and had to be preludes. Finally, 5 little girls and 4 little boys gathered in the yard. Okay, everybody, let's sit in a circle. Emily said. She's and Ivy and Lydia got the children seated. Lydia gave out name cards. At Mrs. Mott's suggestion, Emily had written its children's name on a heavy cardboard circle and strung each on a piece of yarn. Put your name around your neck, Ivy told them. Once they were labeled, the children played duck, duck goose, the ring round the rose, a tisket, tisket, a tasket, and a London Bridge. They giggled and squealed. They really like this stuff, Lydia said to Ivy in surprise. I hate circle games. You are not 3 years old, Ivy said. But the games didn't keep them happy for long. Soon Tim and Joy, the red-haired twins, drifted away and began to wrestle. They were quickly joined by Harry, Michael, and a girl named Roberta. Michael cried when Roberta pulled his hair. Stupid baby, she called him, making him cry even harder. Who wants to make something with a play doll? Emily asked, luring everyone to the picnic table. For a few calm minutes, all 9 were busy dumping, rolling, cutting, and prodding the squishy stuff that the girl had prepared that morning. What time is it? I asked her. Lydia checked her watch. Only 2 o'clock. This is harder than I thought, Ivy said. He put Play-Doh in my hair. Wind, Louise, pointing at Harry. I did not. I made a bug and it jumped. Blue streaks decorated Harry's face like Indian war paint. Then they had a snack, apple juice, and graham crackers. While the others sat quickly eating, Tim and Joy, this covered the garden hose and made a puddle. By the time the girls noticed, Tim was sitting happily in the center of the puddle, stirring the muddy water with both hands. Joy still manned the horse, spreading the puddle into Mrs. Matt's rose garden. Mud pie, said Isabel. It was impossible to keep the other children away from the giant puddle. Finally, the girls gave up and let them play in it. But take off your shoes, Emily said. For the rest of the afternoon, 8 children mixed mud pie, sailed leaf boats, and waited the circles around Tim, who refused to move from the center of the puddle. I'm a hippo, he explained. This is my house. You are all wet. Your mother will be mad. Lydia said she was worried because she'd signed him up. Don't care, said Tim. You have to take a bath, said Lydia. Don't care, Tim repeated. Lydia shrugged and sat down beside her friends. The children mucked in the puddle, happy as piglets. Just before playgroup ends, we'll hose down their arms and legs, dry them off, and they'll be okay. They are having fun, said Ivy. More fun than we had in camp. Lydia agreed. and it was 4:15. Ivy spread the mud off everyone's arms and legs. Emily and Lydia dried them and helped to put on sandals and sneakers. They even wiped the mud off their faces. Only Tim looked as though he had taken a mud bath. The girls tried to wipe him clean, but his clothes stayed grimy and damp. His mother didn't say a word about it. Maybe he always looks like that by the end of the day, said Lydia. Maybe she's just so glad to get rid of him for a while that she doesn't care what he looks like, said Emily. It rained on Tuesday, so playgroup was cancelled. On Wednesday, they decided to go on a trip. We have to, said Lydia. They've already wrecked the yard. Let's take them to the rocks down by the railroad station, said Ivy. Those are too high. Little kids can't climb that high, said Emily. Sure, they can. I always did. I climbed them when I was a baby, Ivy answered. Lydia imagined Ivy in her the diapers crawling up the side of a huge rock. Okay, we'll give it a try, said Emily. It took almost half an hour to walk like kids 2 blocks to the park near the station. First, Isabel stopped to pet a large gray cat sleeping peacefully on the hood of a car. Then the other all wanted to pet him too. Then Harry had to go to the bathroom and he wouldn't just go in the bushes as Ivy suggested. So they went back to the mud house and everyone took a turn. When they finally reached the park, the girls were as hot as grumpy as the small campers. Ivy pointed to the highest spot, a flat surface on top of the biggest boulder. First one to the top wins the race. Tim and Joe needed no encouragement. They climbed like monkeys, finding footholds easily and ignoring any scrapes. Roberta climbed almost as fast as her sandals slipped more than sneakers. The two slowest were Harry and Angela. Harry was afraid of falling. Angela had trouble balancing, but little by little they inched up the rocks until they too sat crossed legs in the sun eating raisins and peanuts. This is mountain climbers' food, Emily told them. It's called grog. I'm thirsty, said Joy. Can I have a drink? There's nothing to drink, said Emily. If we got stuck up here, we'd need water, said Harry. Ranger Rick says hikers need water. Harry was almost 5 and knew more than the other kids. The children looked at each other. Their mouths made little O's and their eyes were round. We are not getting stuck, Ivy said, but the campers won't convince her. I want my mother, Isabel whined. Me too, said Louise in a teary voice. Mary began to cry loudly. We are stuck. I want to go home, Mommy. I want my mommy. Mommy. Her voice sailed out into the air like a siren. Wait a minute, you guys. I will try to reason with them. Didn't I just say we are not stuck? We'll just climb down right now and we'll see how simple it is. You crybabies are ruining all the fun. To prove your point, I stood up. Who's ready? She asked, and began to climb down the hill. Tim and Joy followed right behind her. Then Roberta helped climb the half slid down a smooth, steep side. Holding hands, Mary and Louise inched down on their stomachs. I'll take Harry and Michael. You take Angela and Isabel. Emily told Lydia, come on, guys, pretend you are being chased by a bear. She left with the boys, happily screaming, help! He's right behind us. Angela and Isabel were both sniffling. Isabel needed a handkerchief badly. Lydia found a tissue in her pocket and helped her swab her nose. Like, looks like we'll be the last ones, she said. I'm scared, said Angela. I'm far off. No, you aren't, said Lydia. Isabel decided to try going down by herself. Last one down a rotten egg, she said, inches her way off the top of the rock. As Isabel disappeared, Angela began to cry again. Don't cry, Lydia said. So what if we are lost? Angela looked down at the train station across the street. My daddy takes the train to the city. Maybe he will come home soon and get me down. She began to cry harder. I wish my daddy was here right now. Angela's face was pink with red blotches on her cheeks and forehead. Her eyes and mouth were twisted and scrunched from crying, and her nose was running thickly onto her upper lip. She looked like a combination of a giant newborn baby and an ugly old troll. For a moment, Lydia wished she could just leave her behind. I want my daddy, Angela moaned. Me too, thought Lydia. My daddy would know what to do. Even the dollhouse father had known what to do. The two girls sat for a few minutes, Angela sniffling, Lydia thinking of her father. Suddenly she felt like crying too. She reached over and gave the little girl a hug. We don't need your father to get us down. How about this? We can make a train and slide down together. I'll sit in front and you hold on to my middle. We better not fall or I'll get squeezed, she thought. This kid probably weighs about 100 pounds. Angela's face brightened. Let's pretend we are the little engine that could. Lydia nodded and sat down. Angela sat behind her, round legs sticking out on either side and arms clenched around Lydia's stomach. Not so tight, Lydia gasped. I think I can, Angela chanted. Lydia gripped the rock with her hands and the soles of her sneakers. Little by little, they slid down the first rock. I think I can, Angela crowded happily. The next rock wasn't so smooth, sliding wouldn't work. Pretend that this is a letter and you are a fireman, said Lydia. Angela didn't want to. You can be the fireman and I'll be the baby. You carry me down. Carry you? Are you crazy? Lydia couldn't even imagine lifting her off the ground or 1 inch. No, you are both, we are both firemen. She started to climb down the rock step by step. Angela didn't move. Come on, Lydia said. Angela sat down right where she was and didn't budge. It's easy, Lydia called. Just put your feet on the little ledges and step down. I'll slip. Angela's lower lip stuck out like a fat worm. No, you won't. Yes, I will. Then I'll catch you, and we'll both fall. Lydia thought to herself, if you climb down, I'll give you a piece of bubble gum. Angela finally started to move, stepping down the rock with surprising grace. Lydia didn't pause until they landed on the grass. The others were lying in the shade waiting. What took you so long? Ivy asked. Lydia frowned and shook her head. What good was it to try to explain? We were playing train, said Angela, her face gleaming. Where's my gum? She asked Lydia. Lydia fished her last piece out of her pocket. If playgroup lasts any longer than Friday, I quit, she said to Ivy and Emily. From the tone of her voice, they both knew she wasn't kidding. That night, she described the rock climbing escape escaped in a letter to her father. Dear Dad, the playground for little kids is a big mistake. 9 kids make a lot of trouble. We took them to climb some rocks today, and I got stuck at the top of the hill with a bubble, blue bobbing 3-year-old. Blue, blue, bluebird 3-year-old. It took forever to get her down. Afterward, I told Emily and Ivy that I didn't want to do the playgroup anymore. They want to run it all summer, so we'd make a lot of money. But Mrs. Mott says we'd better stop before anyone gets hurt. I'm glad. I still have to think up a project for the fair next month. Do you have any ideas? I'm glad you are feeling well. Mom said you walked for a whole hour last week. That's great. I love you, Lydia. Puzzled. Ivy was disappointed that the playgroup was ending. I had my bike all picked out. Maybe your parents will lend you the rest, said Lydia. I forgot about half of what I need for the tape recorder, said Emily. I'm going to keep on saving, or maybe I'll get it for Christmas. At least we made some money, said Lydia. Not enough. I will refuse to be cheered up. It's a lot to me, said Lydia. Maybe I'll buy a tape for my father, and I'll buy some books and new sweatshirt and maybe a musical jewelry box and something for my aunts. You don't have that much money, said Emily. Well, I can get some of them, Lydia said. Maybe I'll get a sweatshirt too, said Emily. We could all get one that matched, said Ivy, finally perking up. And we could get a croquet set to share or a microscope, said Emily. I always wanted one of those. We could collect water from the pond and see all the little creatures, or a telescope. We could put the money together and get one of those, said Ivy. I always wanted an ant farm, said Lydia. You can watch the ants make little rows and you can see inside their houses. I always wanted one of those too, said Ivy. Let's each get an ant farm and a sweatshirt, said Emily. On Friday, when the last sticky child had been claimed by a parent, Lydia said goodbye to Emily and Ivy and headed home, tired and relieved. If I don't see another little kid all year, I'll be happy, she said. That night, Aunt Connie made a blueberry pie to celebrate. No casualties, she explained. And the three of you are still friends. That morning, Aunt May had found three old jigsaw puzzles at a yard sale. Let's try one after dessert. Dessert. The boxes had no pictures to give them clues, so Lydia picked one by saying "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo." Aunt May dumped the pieces out on the dining room table. We turned them all over first, she said. I like the border. You can work on any part you like. The puzzle had lots of blue for the sky, or maybe for water, Lydia thought, and dark red that could be brick houses or a barn, brown and green and very bright yellow, lots of gray and white. Let's all guess what it is, said Aunt Connie. They studied the pieces. I say it's a farm, said Aunt May. I say it's Paris in the fall, said Aunt Connie. Lydia kept on looking. What would have those colors? A castle with a moat. She guessed. They got to work, made pieces. The border Connie started on the dark red and Lydia collected all the gray. It looked like part of a stone wall. They each worked quietly for a while, sending the right kind of pieces over to each other. Queenie hummed and taped her foot against her chair. Now that the playgroup is over, I bet it won't be long before Emily comes up with a new plan, said Aunt Connie. I wonder where she gets those schemes. Lydia shrugged. From her brain, I guess. She's always been like that. Aunt Connie continued. Ever since she was a little thing, full of ideas, Emily's the brains, but Ivy's the wit, said Aunt May. What's wit? Asked Lydia. Being funny, clever, full of jokes. That sounded like Ivy. Lydia thought Emily was smart and Ivy was funny, And Lydia was. She didn't have a word to finish the sentence. I'm not dumb, but I'm not so smart. I like to have fun, but I'm not so funny. What am I? Asking out felt awkward. I really like saying, am I pretty? Or do you like me? But Lydia needed to know, what do you think I am? Both of her aunts looked up from the puzzle, surprised. Aunt May looked like the wise old owl peering over her round glasses. She needed glasses for reading and for puzzles too. What do you mean? She asked. Lydia blushed. She wasn't exactly sure what she meant, but she tried to explain herself. Emily's smart, right? Ivy's funny. Leo's a clown. Johnny's weird, wild. But what am I? I'm not anything. Aunt May chuckled. You want a label? That's what you are asking for? She shook her head. Labels don't fit everyone. Maybe they don't fit anyone. Why not? We just aren't one way or one thing. We are lots of things all at the same time. All at the same time. I never had a label, but Connie did, didn't you? And Connie groaned. I hated it. Tell me, please. I was a chicken, too scared to try anything. I wouldn't climb trees. I wouldn't even go sliding on the pond with the others. They teased me all the time. But you grew out of it. May defended her. You did have a label, May. Connie said, you were the bookworm. May laughed. You forgot that? Yes, that's what Father always called me. There were even special family rules for May. Aunt Connie told Lydia, no reading until your homework is finished. Remember this one. No Spanish, no books. May said. See, said Lydia. Everyone has a label except me. I don't do anything special. I'm not anything special. Both aunts looked over at her again, this time more carefully. They heard the hurt in her voice. You look so special, and Connie said, those braids and the big gray eyes make you look old-fashioned like a girl, girl in a fairy tale. Someone that special things might happen to, not just ordinary, imaginative, dreamy. May nodded in agreement. Yes, there is that all the time quickly. You are strong too, independent. I think it comes from being on your own so much since your father's been sick. You take your time and you find your own way. The list kept growing as the ants added to it. You are kind lady. When you think about your mom and your dad, or worry about the little kids at playground, you put yourself in their place, said Connie. You've got a good heart, as they say. May shook her head. I still say you don't need a label. They don't fit people anyway. Maybe sometimes Leo's a clown, but not all the time. And Johnny just got stuck with that reputation. Label the box you in. The much better not to have one. Lydia pushed over 3 border pieces she'd found. I still wish I was one thing special, Some people find their special things later. You are more mysterious this way, sweetheart, like a secret country that hasn't been fully explored, said Aunt May, snapping a corner piece into place, like the puzzle. Aunt Connie said, please, with herself for thinking of the comparison. We aren't sure what it's going to be yet. There's some of this and some of that in it. We have to wait and see how it turns out. How about some popcorn while we are waiting? Asked Aunt May. Yes, please, said Lydia. And some ginger ale. Mysterious, that's what I am, she thought with a satisfied smile. She fit another piece of gray onto the wall. I was right. This is going to be a castle. I win. With the little kids playing revolver. Lydia had afternoon to herself again. She tried to think up a project for the fair. It was late the first week in August and she still didn't have an idea. And some vegetables, Aunt May suggested. You've been helping with the weeding and the watering, but I didn't plant them, so they are not really mine. You could plant something that comes up fast like radishes. So, radishes. Lydia imagined herself standing in front of a panel of judges holding a bunch of radishes. She'd feel ridiculous. Radishes were so small. People just cut them into little flowers and stuck them on the side of a plate. Besides, they didn't even taste very good. I want my own project, but I can't think of anything to make. I hate to sew. I can't cook anything except toast. You could learn. Any food can cook. Not that I think you are a fool, dear, but it's much easier than you think. Connie's the one to ask. She's a much better cook than I am. Maybe I will ask her. Lydia said the next weekend, and Connie invited the moon and the Emmys over for a barbecue. Everyone sat in a grassy backyard and ate ribs dripping with a hot hot sauce, corn on the cob, salad, pickled fresh from the garden, and rolls that Connie had baked that afternoon. Fingers were sick, sticky. Faces were smeared with sauce. Even the pesky, pesky mosquitoes kept away for once. After dinner, they split and sliced a big watermelon. How about a seed spitting contest? Suggested Mr. Mark. Everyone lined up on the edge of the walk. Lydia stood between Ivy and Aunt Connie. Watermelon juice dripped down her chin. With this gap in my teeth, I've got a natural advantage over the rest of you. Aunt Connie teased. At first, everyone aimed at the lawn and tried to split their seeds the farthest. Then they aimed at each other and the contest became a watermelon war. Enough, enough, laughed Mr. Mud when Emily's seed slid down his neck. Why don't you girls play tag or something? He sat down on a lawn chair to rest. Emily immediately sat on his knees, still bouncing a little from the excitement of the game. He tickled the back of her neck with a blade of grass. Watching them, Lydia wished that her father could be there too. Come on, small fry, leave us in peace for a while. Mr. Matt urged, nudging Emily off his lap. The girls wandered toward the front yard. Three wasn't enough for Ted, so they drew hopscotch snails in chalk on the street and played until it was too dark to see the squares. Let's play Ling-a-Ling-o tomorrow night, said Ivy. See how dark it is. It's perfect for hiding meat at my house. I'll tell everybody, okay? The next night after dinner, Emily knocked on the kitchen door. Lydia was loading the dishwasher. Bring a dark sweatshirt. It helps you when you are hiding. Those shorts are good. Emily pointed to Lydia's navy hiking shorts. Emily was dressed in dark green. When they reached Ivy's house, Leo and Johnny Linger sat on the porch steps with Phyllis, Phyllis, who lived at the end of the street. Phyllis' little sister Amy stood awkwardly on the grass beside the steps, hoping they would let her play. Two birds from the chickade sat next to each other on the porch swing. They both had red hair, freckles, and names that began with Mary and Margaret. Their grandmother lived across the street from Ivy, and even since they came over a lot. Oh, good, we can start. Ivy said when she saw Emily and Lydia. Leo's captain, and so am I. Come on, Leo, let's shoot us. Leo called. Ivy nodded. 1, 2, 3, shoot! Two fingers each on even pair, Ivies. 1, 2, 3, shoot! One and two Leo's. 1, 2, 3, shoot! One finger each, even Ivy's. 1, 2, 3, shoot! Two each again, a pair. I win, Ivy said. I picked Johnny. Emily said Leo. I needed some smarts on this team, Ivy said. Lydia, over here. The others were picked one by one. Ivy's team had 5. Leo's had 4. But the larger team had Amy, who couldn't run as fast. Since Ivy had the first choice, Leo's team was first to hide. No picking, Emily said. Ivy's team all covered their eyes and leaned against the trees, counting out loud as fast as they could while the other team ran off. Ivy kept counting until she reached 200. Ready or not, here we come, she called. Okay, she said to the others. Spread out and get ready to attack. Be listening for the call. If you hear it, run for base. If you get there before the other team, you can tag them there. Lydia began to look by the garden whether the bushes grew along the side of the fence. The shadows were dark, but she could see faintly into the corner and the bushes. She shivered. Anything might be hiding in the darkness, maybe snakes. Why didn't I stay with Ivy? She thought. She said to spread out. I could have stayed with Amy, thought, and pretended to keep her company. She circled back toward the base. Squares of light from the kitchen windows glowed on the grass. Safety zone, Lydia thought, stepping deliberately into a bright square. Watch out, someone whispered. They'll see you. Lydia recognized Johnny's voice. Who will see me? Leo's team. Stay in the shadow. You have to surprise them or they can race you to base. He was standing behind the fir tree at the corner of the house. Lydia joined him. I checked on the porch and behind the garage. He whispered, I bet they are up in some tree or across the street. Come on, let's check behind the stone wall. But Ivy said spread out. Lydia whispered, so there's no rules about looking together. It's more fun. If we find them, we can talk more. Delighted to have one excuse not to be alone, Lydia followed. They tiptoed down the edge of the driveway, staying off the telltale gravel with its noisy crunchy. When they reached the sidewalk, Johnny began to run. Lydia tried to keep up. She wasn't sure what stone wall he was talking about. When the game was described, she imagined it all happening inside Ivy's yard. But now she realized that it extended out into the whole neighborhood. Johnny paused at the driveway and waited for a minute with a finger on his lips, listening. Come on, the woods over here, he whispered. Start, Starting across the street by staying out of the bright circle cast by the streetlight. I'll check that end, you check the other. Either way they run, we'll get them. Johnny climbed over the wall and dropped into a dark shadow on the other side. Lydia hesitated for a moment. It was inky dark below. Snakes could lie coiled in the grass. Hungry snakes, boars, and the ladders, just waiting for a juicy kid to eat for a snake. But Johnny had jumped and she didn't want him to think she was afraid. Third, she landed on the springy grass. She inched forward in the inky darkness, trying hard to see in front of her. Suddenly, her foot struck something bulky and she fell forward. Oof! Watch it! Leo grunted. Here they are! Lydia screamed. Run! Leo yelled to his team. Take them, Johnny said. She tried touching Leo and someone else's arm. The others ran, but Johnny cut them off. Take one, take two, he yelled. I got two, said Lydia. Linger, Levo, Johnny yelled. Nice try, he said to Leo, who was still sitting on the ground where Lydia had pinned him. Both teams gathered back at the tree. Who found them? I asked. Lydia, said Johnny, giving her a thump on the back. But Johnny knew where to look. Lydia said, Go hide it, Lydia said. Leo said, We'll start counting. Ivy led them down the driveway. Johnny and Ivy deliberately crunched the gravel. At the side of the road they paused. Shh, whispered Ivy. We are going back to the garage. Walk on the grass and don't make sound. Single file. They tiptoed. The roof, Johnny whispered. Climb, climb on the wood box first, then the gas tank. It's easy from there, Ivy said. She was up in second. Lydia followed, trying not to bump her feet. Margaret needed a hand up, and Amy had to be pulled. She scratched her knee on the shingles. Lydia knew it must hurt, but Amy didn't cry, just a wall. Johnny swung up as smoothly as if he were pulled by wire. They lay on their stomach, peering out at the backyard. They went down the driveway. Emily's voice carried from the front of the house. Ivy giggled, delighted to have fooled them. Shh, Jenny cautioned. As soon as they turned the corner, we sneaked down and headed back around the other side of the house. Then we ran for it. His whisper was so low that Lydia heard only every other word and had to fill in the blanks herself. They waited until the last crunch of gravel faded. Now, Johnny whispered. He dropped down easily. Ivy slid backward on her belly until her feet touched the gas tank. Then she jumped to the ground. I can't get down, whispered Margaret in a teary voice. My knee hurts, Amy said. Lydia was anxious to be off to her base. Just slide down until you touch the tank, she said. Ivy did it. Margaret said, I can, Amy sniffed. Move over and watch me, Lydia said, sliding easily down. Come on, if I can do it, so can you. So can you. Hurry or we will get caught. Finally, the others managed. Once on the ground, they headed across the backyard and up along the side of the horse. Ivy checked the front yard to see if it was safe. Go as fast as you can. They've got to factory ready. Feeling fast and sneaky as a spy. Lydia Lydia ran for the tree, not stopping until she touched its crinkled bark. Ring a lever, the other team struggled back in one and two. We thought you'd gone out the driveway, Emily said. Where were you? Ivy grinned secret. Come on, said Leo. Ivy shook her head. To nothing. First to get 3 wins the game. She reminded him. Make it 4, he said. 3, she repeated. We can't stay out any later. You won't get this point, he said. Come on, team. Lydia covered her eyes and began to count. When they reached 200, they scattered again. Lydia met Johnny by the mailbox. Stick with me, he whispered. Maybe we will get lucky again. She did, happily. They checked inside the cellar door at the top of the steps under the porch inside an extra garbage cans under the car. My dad's car is just like this, Lydia said. Nice car, he said. There's no one to drive it now, Lydia said. Then, realizing that Junie might not know, she said, My dad's in the hospital. Ivy told me. Do you miss him? Lydia shrugged. Sometimes being in the darkness together made it easy to talk even though she didn't know Junie well at all. Let's try the garage next door, he said after a moment. They squeezed through the missing slate in the fence. The garage was empty. Walking back, Junie blurted out, My dad's gone. Huh? Lydia didn't know what it meant. Did he die? No, he went away when I was still a baby. Where did he go? I don't know. I don't remember him. My mom showed me his picture in their high school yearbook. She said I looked like him. Lydia was amazed. She had a million questions, but she was afraid to ask any. Where did his father go? Why? Why would the father leave his baby? How could Johnny say it so plainly? Wasn't he sad? It's not so bad. Johnny said with a shriek. My uncle comes to scout with me when I need him. He coaches my baseball team too. Most of the time, it's okay. He seemed eager to reassure her. But Lydia still couldn't believe any father would just disappear. Why didn't the police catch him and make him come back? Ring a lever. The shower was over on the other side of our base. Let's go. I wonder where they attacked them. Johnny said, starting to run. The game ended 3-1. Leo tried to be a good sport about it, even though he wanted one more try. I promised that I'd be inside about 9. I will apologize. Walking back with Emily, Lydia thought about Johnny. She wished she could talk to Emily about it, but she didn't want to tell a secret. If it was a secret, maybe she could ask her aunts in the morning. They'd be careful not to tell anyone. How could someone just leave? She wanted an answer. The next morning, reading again with Aunt May, Lydia asked, Why would someone go away and leave their child? And May sat back on her heels and pushed up her straw hat so she could look directly at her niece. Now, what on earth put that thought in your head? Promise not to tell anyone. I think it's a secret. After hearing the story, Aunt May shook her head. It's not a secret, lady. Not in a town this size. We all knew what happened. Stephen Linger didn't leave Johnny really. He left the whole idea of marriage, family, job. He hadn't grown up yet himself, as I remember. He headed for Alaska in hopes of working on the pipeline. Some people take a long time to grow up, sweetheart, and that's hard on their children. But it's not fair. Johnny didn't do anything. You are right. It isn't fair. Johnny would live to have a father. I'm sure maybe he will get one. His mother might marry again. He told me it wasn't so bad not having a father, but I think he was just trying to make me feel better, Lydia said, in case that doesn't get well. I always liked that boy, and May said, even when he wrote which on the door with a shaving cream on Halloween. But I think Mike is getting better. Lily, that's what the doctors say. Lily went back to reading, scrapping at the tough little vines with the claw tool. For the first time, she tried to imagine what it would be like not to have a father, not just one who was away or sick a lot. None, no one, just a gap beside her mother and herself. Lydia thought of her dad, tall and thin, walking with a little bone suit as if he had a private song playing in his head, laughing a little and squeezing her hand lightly. She hoped Aunt May was right. He had to get better. That afternoon, she walked to the drugstore and picked out a trick postcard to send him. A farmer's tutor beside a tomato as big as himself, and underneath it said, "We grow them big. How do they make it look like that?" She wondered as she thought of what to write. "Hi, Dad. I bet this man wins a prize at the fair. We had a barbecue on Sunday, and last night we played Ring a River in the dark. I miss you." The card didn't have room for more. She signed it, "Love and Kisses, Lydia," and mailed it on her way home.